Hey guys, welcome back. Hope you had a good day in the market. Middle of the week, Wednesday, February 9th. We're gonna look at some GameStop. What happened? What are my triggers? What's going on? I scaled into a lot of options today, so I am hyped. SPY's coming down here. Sub up, like up, comment down. Happy money sticks around. We have a Twitter you can follow us on. It is at Happy Money YT. There it is. And we have a Discord server with the link in the description. I also put a link for donations you can make if you're feeling so obliged in the description. Some of you were asking about it. Appreciated, not expected at all, but just so you know, it is down there. And I might make a role on Discord, start making roles for members or donators or whatever, something like that. So SPY is coming down today. SPY gapped up today, traded pretty flat. What's interesting is how it correlated with GME. Because yesterday we were looking at GME and kind of the way it worked. Made a big move kind of with the SPY. The SPY did this huge U. Let's see, where do we start? Well, that's not a huge U, I guess. But from the day before it was. Kind of sold off in the beginning of the day yesterday, SPY, and then just, I mean, this is a steep climb on SPY. And this was when GME was doing this. Much more aggressive, of course, on GME. But then today, SPY gapped up and just stayed flat. And then, as Don pointed out in Discord, the first, like, I don't know, 2 hours of today looked pretty much identical to yesterday. It's really crazy. This was yesterday, and then it started gapping up and breaking resistances. And this is today. And then it started to want to do that, and then it stopped. So it seemed like the first couple hours the algos were turned on and were off or whatever. And now it's just kind of consolidating. If you remember my triggers, today didn't have to break out of anything. All I'm looking for today, we've got 50 minutes left, is this candle to stay green, and it's quite likely it will. It'll be a pretty serious attack if it doesn't close green. That'd bring us down to 114. Then that candle turn green. So I'm expecting it to stay green today, and that's everything I needed to get my end of March calls. We've got green MACD, got a green candle over the 9, open and close. This big engulfing candle yesterday was a good tell, but I was waiting specifically for this candle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We've got 8 positive on the MACD. This day we only had 2 before we rallied. This day I think we had 10. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So the interesting thing though for me is that we did actually break out of those resistances. And I assumed if we broke through these 2 resistances, the 2 highs from the trough, which was here and here, then it would be a big day, like this day. Because the first time we broke through those, we had a big day on that one. Same with here. First time we broke through those, we had a big day. Even here, it was pretty big. That being said, maybe today is more like this day, where it's not as big, but it's still a good breakout. Interesting. Because this is look like it's pushing us up closer to earnings also, because our run is happening a little bit later. At any rate, I did get some exposure so I got some for the end of March, and that's because earnings, I got some for March 25th, because earnings are the 22nd. Typically they dump it into earnings, or at least at earnings. If we squeeze, I think earnings will be the catalyst to really catapult it into the squeeze. And then I won't have as much exposure, but I'll have the shares and hopefully be able to exercise some of the shares or some of the options I have for the 25th. So I've got those. Those are expensive, of course, because that's like 2 months. And then today I also bought some for the 16th, I think, next Friday. Yeah, just for this little first bump. And it could be like one of these. And I don't know when it's going to happen, but us breaking this resistance, I thought it would be today, actually. Doesn't seem like it's going to be. We'll see, though. 50 minutes left. Crazy stuff can happen in just a few minutes. Of course, there's always after hours, too, which we're looking back here to March, and we're looking at this candle that broke the trough's resistances. Wasn't a big move, but then a big gap after hours. So, not to say we're going to have that. After hours moves on GME have been pretty scarce over the year, but it's possible. And the trigger to go long has happened anyways, so here's earnings. If you think, I was also looking at actually BRCHF. Is it? Let's see if I have it in here. Yeah, there it is. If you look at this one, not to say it's going to be exact, but this was kind of the GME looking clone chart. Looks very similar to GME. And then we were suspecting we were right here, and we have been actually. We've been following it still. And then as you see, this thing broke out. This would be like $1,200 on GameStop, that high. Anyways, so I was kind of thinking we might do something similar to this, where this dip here and then kind of come back up to this range, which would be like 150 on GameStop. And that makes a lot of sense that we might kind of rally, and this might happen end of this week and maybe a little bit of next week, a little consolidation, and then kind of this move where we grind back up. Because a couple of reasons. One, once we broke out, so I measured these, once we broke out of the resistance of the trough highs, the move from here to here was about 33% actually on all of them. This move to this move was about 33% climb. This one I think was more, this one's like 80%. But the last two are 33%, and 33% from here put us about 155. So I got options with spreads for basically 2 weeks from now for a price target of about 150, and then I've got March, the end of March, which is just after earnings, and my price target for that's closer to 350. I think we're gonna have a big run, and it might take some time. It might not happen in a few days or a week. This might be a longer, more sustained run, more kind of like actually brain chip here. The time frame on this is a little more stretched out, as you can see, because these are daily candles. But if you look, I mean, so this would be 150 on GME, and then this would be grinding up relatively slowly to that would be like 250, and then hitting 350, coming back down, and then but holding a higher support until we really start to move quick from like this would be like 250, blowing past 350 and on up to 1200. So yeah, this might be a longer sustained rally run and really squeeze. And I've said it a few times. I think we'll know if this is a pinch. If there's a pinch we're in or the squeeze by the end of March. So by the end of March, if we are, I think if we've just climbed and we're at 350 or higher, I think we're probably in the squeeze. By the end of March, if we had a peak and it's come down and then shorted down even more after earnings, I think it was a pinch. So it's just basically to me, how high and how fast can we climb before earnings, and then see what happens at earnings for that. But yeah, today was a good day. Again, oh, looks like something's happening. Yeah, so again, we might have, I mean, I was expecting, like I said, I had two triggers. One was open and close green over the 9 to get my long dated, my end of March options. But then I said, if we break these resistances with some velocity, shorter term, to catch this quick rip, because that would make me think we were on this candle right here or this one. So I did, and it's been kind of a slow grind, but this candle's so solid and looks like it's actually starting to do it right now. Yep, look, we just broke that resistance. It might come in these last 45 minutes, which is sick. All right, pull back SPY. It's nice to have a reference with SPY, see what's doing it. Oh, see, we're inversing SPY also a little bit. That I mean, if we're rallying with SPY, it's one thing, but if we start, if there's a heavy inverse, this isn't a heavy inverse, this is more or less following it, but kind of working on its own. SPY's tanking hard, it'll probably pull GME down unless they're inversing. It's not really inversing yet, but this is really good coming into close. I don't expect us to close here. I figured they'd tank it back down to max pain, which is now 110, it was raised, or we would have a big 30% day today. So that's 45 minutes. It'd be exciting. I mean, it's exciting to me if we stay in this range. That's crazy, but I have my plays for it. So I'll show you guys I did a lot today. Too much. 131, 160. These are the call debit spreads I have for next Friday, Feb 18th, right? Yeah, no, that's Feb 25th. I'm sorry. I gave myself 2 weeks. Yeah, 2.5 weeks. So a little bit longer just to be safer. Because if GME, I mean, again, I was saying we could retest. I'm not thinking we're going to retest if we close this high. I was saying we still, even after yesterday, I was like, we still could come down and maybe retest a 93, could get some bearish MACD. I'm not thinking so. I mean, I could be wrong because this is unprecedented. As you saw back here these other times. I was looking at trying to find candles, daily candles that really matched it, and I was like, maybe this one, but that's red, and thinking maybe we're still in the trough. I'm like, maybe this one, but it's different. So really, I think we're on this candle. It's just not as big. That's why I'm saying it's unprecedented. Like, they haven't done that yet before. So this move up might be different, or this is kind of a false breakout. That'd be worst case, where it is a false breakout and we do actually come back down and retest. I'm not thinking that's gonna happen. just because the time frame for us to come back down and retest and then rally, I mean, that could change everything if that happens, as far as us pinching before earnings. So we'll see. I think this is carrying on. I think it's got a lot of strength. Yeah, us closing up this high is really bullish. Anyway, so yeah, I got those for the end of February and the end of March. I'll show you guys what those. Let's see, it's just way too many. They're up. They've gone up and down. I've honestly just like nibbled at them. Just bought some here, bought some there, and it's equated to a pretty big position. It's 3,400 in options that expire at the end of the month, which is more than I usually like to do. But I've got a lot of conviction on it. So max gain on it's 20k, and that's if GameStop's at 160 by end of March. Max loss 3,400. Break even on it's 135. So if we do kind of continue this slow melt up rally, I feel like 135 is probably pretty safe. But of course, if we change momentum, go down, you know, that's going to get out of the money quick. That's the risk. SST, shout out. I think Don shouted this one out. I think I'm down on it, but the chart does look kind of interesting. I think it was a SPAC. Let's see. Yeah, so daily candle today is kind of consolidating. I didn't really wait on it, so I'm down on that, but no worries. That one might end up being well. GME, so I'm just buying naked long calls, 160s for end of March. So I've got 4 or 5 here. Or no, these are the end of March. Did I get some in February? Shoot, what? Ought to open filter. Oh no, this is my spread. That's so confusing. So I have a 131, 160 spread for end of February, and then I just have 160 calls for end of March. So I did 160 calls because I think that gives you kind of the best leverage. Let me show you here. Yeah, so basically I just did it on here and figured it out, and it was I liked it for. I put a 350 price target. It's probably changed now, but 350 end of March. So 175. It's moved around, and you could do less risk, and then it's a 140. Pretty confident, so I moved it up all the way up to 200, but the break even on that was bad. 175 break even's like 182, which is, it's still definitely aggressive, but yeah, got conviction on that. So that's why I picked the one. Well, I did actually 160. Never mind, I did a little more safe. I had ones for 170, but I didn't do it. I went back to the 160s. So 160 naked calls is 169 break even. Sold short SoFi puts. I think I want it in the long term. It's at a nice price. Seems like it's actually at a good spot to trade too. Might rally. I sold 12.5, I think, puts. And then I also opened up let's see, I opened up a call debit spread. Sold short, yeah, 12.5, 22.50 call debit spread. And then I shorted 12.50 puts. Astra, they have a rocket launch coming tomorrow. This thing typically will rally into the rocket launch. If it does well, it'll keep going. If it doesn't, it's going to plummet. Or it might plummet even if it does well. It's a sell the news type thing. I got 2 750 calls for that. And they were up before. They're up a little bit now. Bird's up a little bit. Corsair's up a little bit on earnings. Wish is up 6%. OSTK, I'm still holding that. Still doing well. CLF, 121% on this. That play's working out. I'll probably hold those through earnings too. Other plays I got were some more 160s. So my big longer term position is this one. This 6100 I got in 160 strike calls for end of March. And these, if we get if we get up to 350, I can't remember. Let me put it in this 160. Yeah, let's see what this does. Actually, I don't think you can see it on here. Okay, so 350 is without implied volatility and stuff. So it's 17 grand a contract. It's not increasing implied volatility, which would go up, but at expiration, I guess it wouldn't matter. That's interesting how that works once it gets to 350. So you can see it up here. So I've got 6 or 7 of these, so it'd be a good play. It'd be a nice play, and if it gets that high, I'll be able to exercise some of them most likely, which is kind of the goal, I guess. If I could exercise half or all of them with the profits of the calls, that would be legit. Been talking, not even looking at GameStop. Looks like it wants to break out. Maybe an after hours move. Thanks for watching, guys. Trade safe. See you on Discord. Have a good afternoon. Peace out.